Hello everyone and welcome to my channel More to Chess. In this video I am going to cover the most recent game from Airthings Masters between Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura, where Magnus with white starts with the move c4, Hikaru played knight to f6, knight f3, e6, knight to c3, d5, d4 and d takes c4. This opening setup is known as Queen's Gambit accepted. Now here white has two major options. The first is to play e3. This is more kind of positional approach, and the other one is to play e4. It is more sharper approach. Now here Magnus chooses to play e4, b5, and now e5 attacking the knight. Instead of e5, knight cross b5 is no good because after knight cross e4, white has traded its e pawn for the b pawn, and it is not good in general. And besides it, white also destroyed his beautiful two central pawns. That's why Magnus played e5. Attacking the knight to d5. Now instead of knight d5, if you are not prepared enough, b4 is also looks very tempting and it's not good. So the right way to deal with it is e takes f6. Now b takes c3, f cross g7, bishop cross g7, b cross c3, attacking the c4 pawn. Now queen to d5 defending it, and queen a4 check, double attacking the c4 pawn. White is pawn up with a slightly better position. That's why Hikaru played knight to d5. Now knight takes b5, knight b6, defending the c4 pawn, a3, preventing bishop b4 check, and now Magnus played the fifth most popular move here. Besides knight to c3, knight bishop to e3, bishop e2 and a4. Now Hikaru played knight to c6, threatening to take d4 pawn after a6. Now bishop to e3 protecting it, queen to d7, knight c3, bishop b7, and Magnus played queen to c2. Now knight to a5, looking for the outpost on the b3 square and also opening up the bishop. Rook to d1, rook b8, bishop e2, bishop e7 and h4. Since Hikaru is dominating on the queen side, the center is also blocked, so the only thing Magnus has now is to counterattack on the king side. Now Hikaru played bishop to c6 in order to play bishop a4, h5, Magnus constantly pushing on the king side, bishop to a4, Hikaru is constantly pushing on the queen side. Now knight takes a4, queen takes a4, attacking the queen, and rook to c1. Now instead of rook c1, exchanging the queens with queen cross a4 check will lead to an equal position, but hard to play practically. So that's why Magnus played rook to c1. Now knight to b3, finally landing on the dream outpost. Rook to b1, queen a5 check. It's a dubious move according to the engines, but maybe it's Hikaru's preparation to surprise Magnus. Now king to f1, c5, attacking in the center, h6, Magnus keeps pushing, g6, d takes c5, attacking the knight, bishop cross c5, bishop cross c5, queen takes, and rook to h4. Finally Magnus activated his kingside rook in spite the fact that he cannot castle, while this rook seems still out of the play. And Hikaru castles, bishop cross c4, and finally Magnus is a pawn up. Now rook f to c8, attacking this bishop 3 times, bishop cross b3. Now instead of bishop cross b3, queen cross b3 is also good, but less convincing, because after knight takes c4, queen c3, queen d5, black is constantly giving threats with quite active pieces. That's why Magnus played bishop cross b3. Now queen to b5 with a double attack, queen to e2, queen cross b3, and rook to b4 attacking the queen. And now here you can compare why bishop cross b3 was more comfortable for white. Now queen a2 attacking the rook, rook to d1, a5 attacking the rook, rook to b5 attacking the pawn, a4, queen to e4, queen c4 check, exchanging the queens, queen cross c4, knight cross c4, attacking the rook and also this b2 pawn. And now Magnus played rook cross b8 and rook cross b8. And finally white has converted into a completely winning endgame. But practically it may seem on the contrary that after taking this b2 pawn, the position is equal. But white has h3 e4 pawn, e5 pawn that has fixed black's king side. with the combination of rook to d7 followed by knight to g5 attacking this weak f7 pawn, and then king will follow. So Magnus played rook to d4, first attacking the knight, rook to c8, defending it. Now instead of rook c8, knight cross b2 is no better, because after knight g5 followed by rook to d7, the forced move is rook f8 and the king will follow. So Hikaru played rook to c8 here, rook to d7, knight takes b2, knight to g5 attacking the f7 pawn, rook f8 protecting it, rook to d4 followed by rook to b4 threatening to take both, rook to c8, rook f4 attacking the f7 pawn twice, rook c1 check, king e2, rook c2 check, king to e3, rook c3 check, and king to d2, and finally here Hikaru played rook to c7. Now instead of rook c7, taking the pawn here with rook cross a3 is no good, because white will play rook to d4 threatening mate. Now black has only two choices, rook d3 check and king to f8. Let's first discuss the rook d3 check. Rook cross d3, knight cross d3, king cross d3, and white is simply winning because he is piece up. Now the second here is to play king to f8. Now knight cross h7 check. Black has two moves, king e7, king g8. King g8 will leads to knight f6 check. Now king h8, then mate, king f8, then h7. So it's losing too. After king e7, knight to f6, and it's already winning because the h7 pawn is now unstoppable. So that's why Hikaru played rook to c7 instead of taking the a3 pawn. Now rook to b4 intending to mate, and also with a double attack, knight to c4 check, king to e2, rook c8 preventing mate, rook takes a4, Magnus successfully captures the pawn, knight cross e5, rook to a7 followed by f4 attacking this f7 pawn. Now knight to g4, a mistake in the war's position, a disaster. Black wants to attack this h6 pawn. Now knight cross f7, rook b8, f3 attacking the knight, rook b2 check, king to d3, knight f2 check, king d4, rook d2 check. Now king to e3 attacking the rook, rook a2, and now knight to g5 threatening the mate again, knight d1 check, and in this position Hikaru resigned the game, as after king to f4, king f4 white is threatening mate. Here king to f8 seems the only logical move, but now after knight cross h7 check, king g8, knight f6 check, king f8, because king h8 will lead to mate, so king f8, h7, and it is simply queens. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the game. Bye bye.